Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Tuesday, June 25th, 2019. In both the Lynn life and the Jamie body mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions, and all other souls from all other dimensions, as long as we're all living by the many search for truth rules already given to the search for truth community by wiser minds above all of us. And the foundational rule is for all of us to always be looking up to wiser minds above us, asking up to those wiser minds, what now? What am I supposed to be doing right now on some facet of solving the big problems of our times? And then doing whatever it is that wiser minds above say to do, the way in which they say to do it, to the best of our abilities, as if we intend to excel.
That's true.
Just to remind viewers, what we're doing here is recording, channeling from wiser minds above all of us who are affiliated with planet Earth. They are the godly presences and higher ranking angels affiliated with planet Earth. All the godly presences of planet Earth from all the various spiritual traditions are all working together, attempting to get humanity to wake up, stop being destructive before it's too late.
That's true.
We ourselves have a big question.
Yeah.
And the big question is, what do we do about all these dead people here who don't really even know that they're dead, and they're not going up to God, and they're such an enormous problem. They're really making everything 1,000 times more difficult than it would ordinarily be, and we think the decimal point is in the correct place on that estimate. Everything is about 1,000 times harder than it needs to be because of all these dead people everywhere.
That's true.
We don't know how to get them out of here, because normally how you get a dead person out of the dimension is the person dies, and there used to be updraft, and the soul would just kind of waft up, and then the body would die because the soul was gone.
That's true.
And now we have this soul-body disconnect, and the souls just kind of seem to be floating along like plankton.
That's true, and this is on a mass scale, not just in these small, isolated incidents.
Yeah, it seems to be planet-wide that the souls have disconnected from the bodies, and the souls are floating along like plankton.
That's true.
Except that they're feeding off the lives, and this is a real problem.
That's true.
And it's making everything worse. This soul-body disconnect is a serious problem, but until we get the excess dead out of here, we don't even know how to start with solving this problem.
That's
and so
true.
We've been asking, some might call it praying, Praying, for quite some time, is how do we get these dead people to go up who don't even know that they're dead, and so it's not on their list of things to do.
No.
And so some wiser minds above have said, well, you've got to kill the dead people so that they realize that they're dead. And in healing sessions, when somebody's pointing to something and the speaker just changed and they're talking about something they've learned from healing sessions, and that is something that you can do, is you can take the soul back in time to when the body died, and then move them forward again. And then this is one of the many techniques of how to deal with situations where a quote exorcism unquote is needed. And in a quote exorcism unquote, there are dead people who have glommed on to somebody who's living. And there are many tricks of how to get the dead person to let go and go up to God. And that's one of them, is to help the dead person remember where they lived before. Where were you before you came here? take them back to before the death experience of that life, move them forward again, help them realize, oh, that's right, I died. And then many times we can get them to look up, and we'll find somebody who really loves that person to reach down, and then up they go, up to their grandma or best friend or
That's right.
wife or husband or child.
That's right.
But now, how do we do this on a mass scale?
That's the question.
Because we have, it seems to us, billions, with a B,
Oh, yeah.
billions of dead people around here, not around here, this little patch of forest, but here on the planet,
That's true.
where they don't even know they're dead. And so we've got to do this on a mass scale. And so somebody's pointing to that trick that we learned when our son was in high school.
Yes, the brother of this one, son of that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And his teacher gave him an assignment, his English teacher,
Yes.
saying, why did Shakespeare choose the sonnet form for this particular poem?
Yes.
So he came home from high school grumbling about that stupid assignment.
Yes.
And we said, well, let's ask Shakespeare. And he had grown up around his mother, obviously,
That's
so
true.
understood that she was psychic, etc.
That's right.
And we did connect with Shakespeare, and we asked him why he had chosen the sonnet for that particular poem. And he said something beautiful, and we stupidly did not have a recorder running like we do now. And that was the day that we said, we're never going to do this again without recording it.
That's right.
And he said something beautiful, and it was a poem that was about springtime and about love.
That's right.
And he said that those were two really beautiful things, and he said it very poetically. And he said, and the sonnet itself is itself a beautiful thing because of the strictures of the form.
Yes, that's
And how
true.
could he have chosen anything but a sonnet for a poem about love and springtime?
Yeah.
And then my son said, so do you think I should use that? We said, yes, we
Yeah.
think you should use it, because that's what Shakespeare said.
Yeah.
But the relevance to this particular inquiry
Yes.
is that Shakespeare was available to answer a question. And
That's
now we have
true.
this important question of how to get the dead out of this dimension who don't even know they're dead. And
That's
not
true.
this isn't something that can be done one by one by one by one, because there are billions with a B
That's true.
of these souls who are dead and don't know they're dead. It's got to be something done on a mass scale. We do know that there are great minds above who are themselves dead and who know they're dead. And for
That's
example,
true.
Albert Einstein.
That's true.
Albert Einstein. How do we get the dead out? The mass scale dead. How do we get them to realize they're dead and go up? And we would also ask other great minds.
That's
Leonardo
true.
da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci, I see him.
I see him also.
Hi. We have this big problem of dead people who don't know they're dead, and therefore they aren't going up.
That's true.
And everything is about 1,000 times more difficult. Solving the big problems of our times is being complicated by the presence of the dead who don't know they're dead.
That's true.
How do we get the dead to realize they're dead and go up? And to Isaac Newton, he was a physicist also.
I see him also.
Sitting
outside.
He is.
Mhm.
Under an apple tree. Oh, that's very
It's
clever.
really clever. And I should have said this earlier, that Dr. Einstein was standing on a stool in front of a chalkboard,
I see him.
and Dr. Da Vinci was sitting kind of in front of a window with a little table.
I see the table.
And I see Isaac Newton sitting under a tree, and it looks like an apple tree, which is really funny and relevant.
Right. And so to Sir Newton, we would ask, would you like to also take up this inquiry. See if you can figure out how can we get the dead, how can we, quote, kill the undead, unquote. How can we kill the undead, get them to realize they're dead on a mass scale in a way that the undead acknowledge? How do you kill the undead on a mass scale in a way that the undead acknowledge? Would you like to participate in that inquiry? That question goes up.
It really does.
Yeah, he's holding it and looking at
it.
Einstein looks more interested.
Much more interested.
Very curious. Like he looks, like his eyes are
excited.
lit up with that. Oh,
Yes.
what a wonderful challenge.
What a wonderful challenge.
Newton looks more like a theoretical
Like I
thinker.
like theory, yeah.
Da Vinci, he might feel it's not a problem for his times or something like that.
The feeling could be like, well, I have a lot of problems that are relevant to the experience that I know better than this experience.
Right.
And so I want to focus on those other things right now.
I understand.
And he doesn't feel like angry or gross about it.
No, he lived in a less crowded time. So
that's true.
yeah, Einstein is more current. Well, how about Tesla? Nikolai Tesla.